for the weary. How beautiful heaven must be.
When I said that there would be a lot of scriptures this evening, I wasn't joking. I was going to write some of them down. What I'm going to do instead is just give you a copy of the scriptures, meaning the references on my note pages. You say, are you going to go through all of them? The answer is no. I don't want to be here for 3.5 to 5 hours. And you say, well, what about the drawing? You'll get the drawing too. This sermon, actually, about a year ago, I did this sermon. But as sometimes happens, most of you had Sunday dinner about this same time last year on a Sunday. But most of you don't recall what you ate last year. And so that is the way it is sometimes with preaching. So you say, no, I'm not preaching the same sermon. I've cut off the first 25% for tonight so we can focus on stuff that ties into where we were Wednesday. On Wednesday night, we took a passage from 1 Thessalonians 4 talking about the second coming of Christ. And we drew a bunch of this stuff out. And what we're going to look at is stuff that you can put your finger on regarding the hereafter and death and things like that. And the stuff that we're going to be able to put our fingers on, it's going to be stuff that you're not going to have to strain the verse to make it make sense. I think it was I Love Lucy. Where Rick looked at Lucy one time and he said, you're straining to do some splaining. And when you come to these topics, and Revelation 20, and we're going to be in Revelation some, but Revelation 20 says, I saw an angel come down from heaven having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years and cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up and set a seal on him that he should not deceive the nations any longer till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that he must be loosed for a little season. And people want to grab that and devise this whole crazy eschatology. Now, I will give you that word. Eschatos or eschatos means end things. Ology means the study of. So if you ever hear somebody go, well, the eschatology of that just means the end things. Generally, it relates to the second coming of Christ, judgment in heaven and hell. That's all that fancy word means. But off of these verses, we know that there was a whole series of books that were the second dumbest series of books ever written in the history of humanity. You say, what was the first? Man still has time till Jesus returns to supersede it. So I hold the spot open. But the Left Behind series takes, say, passages like this, and they can get thousands of pages of books and hours of movies and terrify people into something that's really not that scary. And so I want you to leave tonight with accurate knowledge for yourself, accurate knowledge for your friends, and maybe a little bit better grasp of how some of this stuff works. And so we're going to start out in Luke chapter 11. Because Luke 11, Jesus tells us an account that has to do with the afterlife. Has to do with the afterlife. Excuse me. Oh, no, I'm wrong. I know why I have Luke 11 in my head. Bobby, help me out.
With what?
The rich man and Lazarus. Oh, not the crooked woman healed, not the there we go. Luke 16.
Luke 16.
Luke 16.
Thanks, Bobby.
So why'd you have Luke 11? I don't know. I've got it on my paper right here, Luke 16, 19 through 31. Now I want you to notice, first of all, Jesus does not say this is a parable. Oftentimes preachers will preach and they'll go, Jesus gave them a parable. No, Jesus is telling the way it is. This is not a parable. This is not a story spun for our amusement. So he says, verse 19, there was a certain rich man who was clothed in purple and fine linen, and he fared sumptuously every day. There was a certain beggar named Lazarus, who was laid at his gate, full of sores, and desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. It came to pass that the beggar died, and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. And the rich man also died, and he was buried. And in hell he lifted up his eyes. Now some of you say, mine says,